Hello, everybody. I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and you are on the lifeboat. People, I decided to do this one for everybody. This is not a members-only live feed. This is just a live feed. We're going to be doing some stuff for members only, but there were a couple of people that reached out to me today who were not members that really needed a little bit of assistance, and we're kind of in a pinch. I wanted to make sure that we didn't leave anybody out. That's not the purpose of memberships. The purpose of the membership is so that we can help people, and you know what? We've already helped people with money that has been brought in by the memberships. There's stuff coming for you guys. Mark is editing some stuff right now that is just sort of for fun, and we're going to do a live feed that has just for members. It's not. I want everyone to understand this. If you've never been to a members-only live feed, if you didn't do our first one because you were not a member, Noise Opera, good to see you, brother. Vicky Burke, good to see you. Lord Kiss Freak, M. Hunt, good to see you, bud. Good to see you. Who do we got? Vicky Brooke. Yeah, Charlie Mullins. All right, so for those of you who have been to a live feed that is not, that's just for members, we don't really talk a lot about staying sober, things like that. It's really more about behind the scenes stuff. It's a little bit more fun. It's not as heavy as a lot of the stuff we do. This might be a little bit more along those lines. Hey, Johnny Scoville, good to see you, bud. This might be a little bit closer to that, but I wanted to make sure that we didn't miss anybody. I'm going to talk about some things today. There is somebody, I'm not going to use anyone's name, but there is somebody that was able to get on the buprenorphine treatment, and it has been working fantastic for this individual. This person took a benzodiazepine today. No judgment, you understand? We don't do that here. Person took a benzodiazepine. Why are there 19 of you in here and only 10 thumbs up? People, when you hit that, as soon as you get here, it tells the big red button that we're doing something right. I'm not trying to be a jerk, but we really got to start hitting that button on the way in. If we're trying to benefit the lifeboat, then we're going to hit that button every time we come in. Because hey, Jen, good to see you. Because when we see that, and the big red button sees that, as soon as they get here, it pushes this out farther. And our message, people, can't get far enough. Okay? Thank you. I appreciate it. I really do. So what happened is this person took a benzo, which would be your Valium, your Xanax, your Audubon, any of those. And immediately got sick, got really, really sick. And it didn't make sense to this person, right? Diary of a Madman, good to see ya. I am a friggin' member, he says. You look great. So this individual went into precipitative withdrawal. And you say to yourself, why would this person go into precipitative withdrawal? It doesn't make a lot of sense. And the reason it doesn't make sense is because it shouldn't happen. You understand? Franklin, MC. Franklin, welcome to the lifeboat. We're glad you're here, bud. I think it's a bud. We're glad that you're here, Franklin. So this person went into precipitative withdrawal, and you say, why? And I'll tell you why. Because the Xanax wasn't a Xanax. The Xanax was a pressed pill that was sold in the U.S. There's no other explanation for why somebody on buprenorphine would end up going into precipitative withdrawal unless they took an opiate. In this case, they took fent. Awakened by the Looking Glass, great to see you. So this person took something that was pressed into a pill. It was not what it appeared to be. People, I can't tell you how dangerous it is to take anything today. You're not getting what you think you're getting. Do you understand? Everything out there right now has got fent in it. Everything. And it's Aliyah, glad that you're here. I'm not happy that this person took it. It makes for a great illustration. It really does. And I'm not happy that it's a great illustration. I'm not happy that this person is in with precipitative withdrawal. Precipitative withdrawal means that what happens is buprenorphine, bupe, which is the same stuff that is in Subutex or Suboxone, kicks everything else off the receptors. So you take a active pain medication and it is going to put you into precipitative withdrawal. And what that means is that 3 days into your withdrawal is when you feel the worst, because it takes 72 hours for all of the opiates to leave your body. For this individual, it took a few minutes. And when that few minutes hit, it hit like a ton of bricks. It's a great illustration. I'm sad that it's happening. The person is doing a little bit better now, and we're happy about that. But that's the world we live in, people. We live in a world right now where everything can kill you. You know, everything can kill you. And we don't want this to happen to anybody. My baby sister came over today and was talking about the minister that runs her church, whose son just overdosed and died on fent. And it hurts. It really does. It hurts. This is our life, right? This is what we have chosen to do with our life. And when we lose one, it's like getting kicked in the stomach, people. It really does. It's like the pain is it's almost more than you can bear. It really does hurt. I took the Xanax 3 days ago. You see, you really got to be careful with what you take these days, people, because it just cannot. You're not going to get what you think you're going to get. You understand? What you're going to get is going to have fent in it. And you know what? Pariah, good to see you. Full agonist versus partial. I've been there. Yes. I've been there. Precipitated withdrawal sucks. Yeah, it does. And it's exactly what it is. It's a full agonist versus a partial agonist. So you have agonist and you have antagonist, right? And one is basically the antidote. And what it does is it kicks everything off of the receptors and things get really bad. Now we have 22 thumbs up with 33 people, which is a lot better. I appreciate that, people. I really do. But you know what? If all of you do it, we're going to get further and further and further out. The boat's going to get bigger. We're going to help more people. And that's why we're here, which is why I'm doing this on my day off. And it's why I did it yesterday on my day off. I'll be honest. I'm not trying to burn out, people. I really am not. And there are going to be times that I don't do this, you know. Empath Ninja. What an unusual name. An Empath Ninja. It's a great name. Welcome to the boat. Glad that you're here, Ninja. Really are. Glad that you're here. So I'm not going to get burnt out, I promise you, people. I'm going to take breaks. Look at that. 28 thumbs up and 32 people. That's what I'm talking about. Thank you so much, people. Really, honestly, thank you. It makes a difference. It may not seem like it's a big deal. It is. It's a huge deal. And it's one of those things that if we take the time to make sure we do, we're going to push this out a little bit further. And that's what it's all about. It's not about making money. It's not about, hey, look how many subs we got. It's none of that crap. It really is just about trying to make a difference. And you know something? Formerly known as Scott Geet. Well, Scott, we're glad that you're here. I like the name, man. I really do. Lady Fiona Crispin is here. She's going to be in there under the Lifeboat logo, so don't confuse the two of us. Lady Crispin is the reason that the page looks good these days. She has really gone above and beyond the call to do some work for us here on the Lifeboat. And Lady Crispin, we can't thank you enough. We really can't. She's also the purchasing agent for my company. Look at this. I'm sorry, but that, people, is a Girard Perregaux. It's a very, very old watch. I know it looks brand new. It is not. She found this for me in South America, and it is one of the best scores that she has done since we started. Am I okay, brother, or am I a no-go? Look at this. Somebody thinks I'm not live today, so let's fix this real quick, shall we? We can't not have him here. Hold on 1 second. 1 second. Because this is going to be funny. All right. This is going to be Buddha. And when Buddha gets in here, I want everybody to say, hey, Doodlebug, how you doing? This is I am very close friends with Buddha's grandmother. It's a woman you would think is 22 if you talk to her on the telephone. Sharp as a tack, funny. Phyllis is she is top shelf. She really is. She is top shelf. Emily, good to see you. But turns out she calls him Doodlebug, and he's, I don't think he was very happy that we found that out. So from this point on, everybody's going to give him just a little, we're going to twist that knife a little bit. When we see him, we're going to give him the, hey, Doodlebug. So he's probably going to pop on here any second. People, let me tell you a little bit about what we got going on. 33 thumbs up. You people are the best. I have talked over with a lot of people concerning getting the 5. And by 5, I mean the backup 5. And today it worked. Today somebody went into the lifeboat and said, hey, man, I'm hurting. I need to talk to somebody. And you people, one right after the other. One right after the other. That's what's supposed to happen. Hey, Doodlebug, good to see you. That's what's supposed to happen. We're going to have a place where people do that and nothing else. Brandon Taylor, good to see you, Brandon. Well done, Brandon. Brandon is still fighting the good fight, staying clean, so we're proud of him. Proud of you, M. Hunt. Really proud of you. I really am. There's no way to put into words just what it means when someone is making it happen. I got a text from somebody. It was a comment, not a text, from somebody that said, I am 1 day sober today. It's my first day. People, if that doesn't excite you the way it does me, then you're probably on the wrong channel. There is something so incredible to hear that somebody has 1 day sober. It really is one of those things that is just absolutely amazing. It's one of those things that makes you feel like we're doing something here, right? That we are doing something here. Cultivate kindness. Good to see you. Yeah, M. Hunt. Good job, man. I'd love to see a 1 in there for M. Hunt and for everybody else fighting the good fight. It couldn't be a bigger deal to me. It literally could not be a bigger deal to me to see you people doing this and fighting the way that you're fighting. It's absolutely astounding. Look at all those 1s. Leisure. Good to see you, Leisure. I'm glad that you're here. We are getting on to that time of the month where the good people at the Big Red Button are going to be sending out a paycheck, which is going to be coming from all of the people who have memberships and all of the people that have donated to the lifeboat, which I really appreciate. It's going to allow us to do some things. The cards are going to be printed this month. What will happen with those cards is they're free, not going to cost anybody anything. When you have the ability to cover shipping, that'll be great. If you're in a position and you can't cover shipping, you just tell us and we'll understand and we'll make that happen. If it is possible that you cover the shipping, then life is going to be a little bit better. It's going to help us get more of these cards into people's hands. The card is just going to be just that. It's like a business card. But what it says is, there's a place called the Lifeboat. And what we do is we help people get sober, and we would like you to go there. It's going to make it easier so that you don't have to try to have a conversation with somebody that sometimes, let's be honest, can be a very uncomfortable conversation. Not so much for me and for a lot of the people who are here all the time, but it's not easy to talk to somebody who is in the life. And a lot of times, Tommy Bird, good to see you, bud. A lot of times it's difficult to have that conversation, but it is so important. So that's going to be happening this month. We're also going to be having the other page set up. So it's going to be, we're starting out on Messenger is where it's going to start, so that you can go in, cat in a basket, you betcha. She just got here. She was outside in the snow. She wasn't really in the snow, but she was outside. She pretended she was going to go in the snow, and then she gets out there and does this thing with her paw. Or she's not a big fan of snow. She likes to pretend she's a big girl, so she'll go out there, but she doesn't really do anything. She's a good kitty, though. Honestly, one of the things that keeps me really calm in this world, between Lady Crispin and the cat. I mean, without the two of them, I don't know what I would do. I was talking to Johnny Scoville today, and if you don't know Johnny Scoville, he's my big brother. He's my older brother, considerably older brother. As you could probably tell by looking at the two of us, one of us is a lot older than the other. He's all white through here and it just... But anyway, I was talking with Johnny, and he's a very, very talented writer. Always has been, from the time he was a very, very young kid. And when he was a little boy, he wrote a story about a kid that has a backpack that could get you to fly. And he talked about putting his backpack on and flying to school and doing all of these things. But in that story, the first thing that the kid did in the morning was take his energy pills. Got up in the morning and took pills that would provide him with energy for the entire day. it's kind of ironic if you think about it, that even at that age, that was one of those things. It may seem innocuous, but it's not. It says a lot about who we are. Nah, secretly Squirrel is planning on how to make snowballs and throw them at you, Tommy. Let me tell you something, V. This cat has got annoying me down to a science. I love her more than anything in the world, but this cat decides when I sleep, when I don't sleep. She really is. She's something. You probably will see some film of Squirrel here in the very near future, because some of that is getting edited in also. But it's what you guys don't hear. Lady Crispin could back this up, so could my brother Johnny. But Squirrel does not stop talking all day long. This is a cat that meows a couple of thousand times a day. I'm not exaggerating. It is incredible how often this cat meows. But during the show, she is well behaved. I used to take Adderall too, in reference to super pills. You know what? I'm glad that you brought up Adderall, because it's a drug right now that's an issue in this country. Not that it hasn't been an issue for a long time, because it has been. It's one of the most popular drugs in the U.S. There are so many people. Yeah, she's pretty vocal, he says. There are so many people that take Adderall, and there are people on the boat taking it right now, and I'm not judging anybody, because that's not what we do here. But there are people who have come to believe that Adderall is a super pill. It helps with performance. You're more focused. You clean better. You study better. You do everything better. And then they made a film about a guy that takes a pill, and that pill makes him smarter, faster. Right? You probably have all seen the movie. It's got the most handsome man alive in it. I can't think of his name right now. Brad, guy from The Hangover. Somebody's going to put it in the comments section, because you're all smarter than I am. But Limitless. That may be the name of the pill. Thank you. And it became a standard joke that pill is actually Adderall. Adderall is an amphetamine, plain and simple. It is a very well manufactured amphetamine, and by that I mean it's not bathtub crank. It's not the stuff that people buy on the street. It is a very controlled dose of amphetamine that now is done in a time-released fashion. Adderall is no longer sold the way it used to be. Its pharmaceutical speed is exactly right. It is. It's not the top of the food chain when it comes to pharmaceutical speed. It is usually to treat ADHD, and there's some other things that it treats people with. But I despise what it does to people, and how subversive speed is. M. Hunt, I'm with you. One of the things about Adderall is it tells people a bunch of BS. It tells you that you're more focused. It tells you that you're better. It tells you that you're this. It tells you that you're that. And most people don't realize the danger of what it actually does to your personality. So if you're on it, I'm not judging anybody. It's not my get down. But please give it a lot of thought, right? Give a lot of thought to taking that, because they're right. All you're taking is pharmaceutical speed. It used to be primarily given out for attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. So kids start out, and the very bottom of that food chain is Ritalin, right? The next one up is Adderall. After that, you get ones called dexedrines, right? Dextromethamphetamine. It's really just all it is a more pure version of meth. And then the very top of that food chain is something called disoxin. And disoxin is, it will keep you up for days. I used to hate speed when I was an opiate user, and I hated being wide awake and dope sick. Cultivate kindness, been there, done that. And it's something that a lot of people do because it's around, right? So a lot of us, I used to do it. I'm not going to lie to you. I did a lot of it. I did it so that I could do more heroin. As stupid as that sounds, that is the reason that I did it. It enabled me to stay awake longer without nodding out. I would do heroin all day long, and usually by about 11 or 12 o'clock at night, the nod would start. So if I did speed, I could continue to do more dope, and I could continue, to not get to that point where I was going to fade into unconsciousness. So I would use it as a way to stay up for 2 days on dope. Fortunately, I am off it. Now, the other danger right now is that it is one of these pills that is being faked. We talk an awful lot about M30s, right? The Perk 30 is the most counterfeited pill in the world, but it is not the only counterfeited pill in the world, right? A lot of benzos are being counterfeited, especially Xanax bars. Originally, Xanax bars were being made out of Valiums. You can buy Valiums in Mexico for pennies. There's Doodlebug. Good to see you, Buddha. You're talking about, 4 cents, 3 cents to buy a Valium 10. But Valium 10 don't carry the same street value as does a Xanax bar. So people were going down and buying tons and tons of diazepam, which is Valium, and they were crushing it up, putting it into a pill press, and just cranking out Xanax bars. And they could sell, 30 cents worth of diazepam for, $8 to $10 because that's about what they were, fetching on the street. However, they have begun to add to that fen. They've also begun to add to that nitazines, right? Phytonitazines. You have to be careful, people. I cannot stress this enough. If you're taking a pill and you didn't get it at the pharmacy and your name doesn't appear on the bottle, then you're probably not getting what you think you're getting. You understand? Right now, the landscape that we live in, pills have become the ultimate moneymaker for the cartels. Everything that they're making now, they're pressing into pills. So whether that be Xanax or whether it be anything else, they're pressing these things into pills, and then in the process of doing this, killing people. Yeah, I speedballed for years myself, so I didn't always pass out slobbering on myself, or at least that is what I told myself back then. Yeah, and you loved the taste. For the people that speedball, there is a very unique thing that happens when the coke goes through your body and it gets to the capillary beds near the tongue. Your taste buds actually taste it, and you get this, that feeling that really keeps people continuing to do it, which is just awful. Seventh Son, good to see you. I don't want to hear anything. Pills or cash, says Franklin MC. I don't want to hear anything about the glasses either. Leave the Homer Simpson stuff out of this. Xannies are the worst. I started doing the big green Hulks, and it had fent in them. With dope. And it had fent in them. Mixing them with dope was the closest I ever came to ODing, and my life fell apart within 3 months. You're not going to do it again, right? You're not going to do it again. There are people, I used to buy bars online. They definitely were never consistent. Sometimes I would need 1 and other times I would need 5. People, I hope you're hearing what everyone is saying, because this is the world that we live in. You understand? They're great line. Right? There's money in pills. They're very, very easy to smuggle. They're very easy to sell, right? And this is the future. So if you're someone that is buying dope, well, you go and you get your dope in a pill form. If you're buying Xanax, you go buy them. You don't know what you're getting anymore, people. You don't. You do not know what you're getting. And this isn't a matter of, in the bad old days, sometimes you had to take 5. Right? Sometimes you took 1. Now, 1 can kill you. I'm not making this worse than it is. I promise you I'm not. Every single day of my life, somebody reaches out to me and says, Captain Tommy, my sister's boy, or my priest's son, or every single day of my life. I'm not exaggerating. Every day of my life, I get an email that says, somebody just overdosed and died. There is not a day that goes by. I cannot remember the last day that somebody didn't say to me, I know someone that overdosed and died yesterday, or we just lost somebody. It's it hurts. It's one of the most painful things in the world, especially if you are trying to do what I'm trying to do. But what's worse is that I don't want it to be anybody on the boat. Not that I want it to be anybody, but for the love of God, I don't want it to be our crew. I've really come to love you people. My Suboxone story is very bad. All the pharmacy wanted from me was money, and they gave me something else other than Suboxone, and I quit cold turkey. I've heard stories like that, and they're very often north of the border. Noise opera is Canadian, and I have heard things like that from Canada before. Tommy Bird says, after a couple of years, though, I could never get the old slam bam. Once I did, eventually, I was actually able to stop chasing. But back then, it wasn't willpower, just disappointment. Sad but true. I remember, like it was yesterday, sitting in a bathroom on the floor. I was in Salt Lake City. Utah, and I was sitting in the floor of the bathroom, and I had a speedball in the syringe. And from 6 o'clock in the morning to 9 o'clock, I tried to get it into a vein. I'm not kidding you. I would continue poking myself, and the needle would get so dull that I would have to take it out, put it into something else. Or if you've ever done this, you know that if you get this much blood in, it instantly coagulates. It makes the stuff so that you can't. So you would have to take it out, put it through a cotton ball. But 3 hours of my life I wasted trying to get that stuff into my body. Just stupidity. There's no other way to put it. Stupidity. But this is the life that we live when we fall into drug addiction. Right now, people, we are making a difference. We really are. We're making a difference. And by we, I mean you. Diary of the Madman said, I took 1 Xanax in 2018. I woke up in the ambulance after 8 milligrams of adrenaline and 4 shots of 4 milligrams of Narcan. 16 milligrams of Narcan, man. I was pronounced dead on scene. 1 Xanax. Do you hear that? Do you hear that? And let me tell you something. Narcan doesn't do anything for Xanax. So obviously what he was getting was a very heavy opiate pressed into, you know what, Johnny, you're better than that. You're better than that. My brother calling me Homer Simpson. The, dear God, diary. Yeah. Yeah, I'm glad that you're here now too. I really, really am glad that you are here now too. Diary of a Madman, you are where you ought to be. This is home. This is home. This is where you're supposed to be. People, we're not like others. That's simply the truth. We're not like others. And that's a reality, right? We're different. And we're always going to be different. We're wired differently than other people. And for that reason, we're not capable of doing substances the way that others are. Drugs also kill people in other ways. I read a horrific article this morning about a drug cartel doing a hit on a family in California, most likely over drugs, they said. It broke my heart. Lady Crispin, she said they basically killed the entire family by shooting them. They killed a teen mom and her baby. Who does that? Monsters. It made me so mad. Well, you answered your question. Who does that? Monsters. This is, and I'm glad that you brought it up. Tommy, that's rough watching friends try to find a vein for an hour. Yeah, I know, it's awful. Fiona, I'm glad that you brought that up because we talk about the number of people that die from drug overdoses, and we talk about the number of people who are killed by fent. What we don't talk about are the number of people getting shot over this crap every day. The drug wars, the gangs are fighting over turf in ways that they haven't since the crack wars. When you start taking into account all of the different ways that this is causing death, we use the number 400 very often. And it's because we believe that that's what the actual number is in terms of people who are overdosing and dying. When you add in the deaths, the murders, all of the other things, how many are we losing? Honestly. I mean, we don't know. I suppose that 500 is probably a closer number. Lady Fiona says also the S word that I can't say because it will absolutely tank this. Another storm coming. Boy, there's a storm coming every 5 seconds. Bent every 5 seconds. Like I go out, I shovel, I go out, I shovel, I go out, I go shovel. Flamin' Jackson! Flamin' Jackson, I love you, brother. I really do. I really do. Flamin' Jackson is one of the nicest people you will ever meet. And you know something? I could say that about so many people on this boat. Would you look at this crew? 41 people and 39 people have hit the thumbs up. Thank you, guys. Thank you. I know it's a pain in the butt. It is. And I forget to do it on channels that I care about every day. It's easy to forget. But boy, when you take the time to do it, it pushes the algorithm actually cares and they start to do things. And when you leave messages, when you leave a text afterwards, right, it does something to help this message get further out. Tommy Bird said, yeah, when I had my diabetic attack years ago, when my blood glucose got over 1,500, my veins were still so bad they had to get the most experienced nurse and still had an IV in each shoulder. It was all I had. I had a stroke. I was on the street. I was about to say I was in prison because I had two, but this one I was on the street for. And I had a stroke, and they were talking about TPA, which is the clot busting drug, right? Thins your blood so that if you're having a stroke, it won't go hemorrhagic, right? There are two kinds of strokes. One is called hemorrhagic, which is a bleeder, right? It's where you literally bleed in the brain. It's an exploded blood vessel, and unfortunately, blood eats gray matter. It's like putting gasoline on styrofoam. It just literally disintegrates the gray matter. So they don't want the ischemic attack, which is where you just get a blockage in the brain, and for a little while you sort of. I was with my ex-wife, and the cat ran across the floor, and I said, I think that's the first time I've seen Linda today. And my wife said, Linda, right? Don't you mean Fiona, which was the name of my cat at the time, believe it or not? And I didn't know where I was. I wasn't making any sense, and I collapsed. Amazingly, this small woman was able to get me into a car and get me to the hospital, and she saved my life. But when I got there, they wanted to give me the TPA, which is the clot busting drug that you have to give it in a very short period of time. Now, if you're already bleeding, right? If you're already hemorrhagic and they give you this, it's a death sentence because it thins the blood so much that if you're bleeding in there, you just bleed out, and you bleed out in seconds. And it was a very odd experience because I didn't have my faculties together to give them permission or do anything else. And my ex-wife was there, and the doctor said, are you willing to let us give you this TPA, this clot busting drug? And my speech was really slurred, but my wife understood, basically what I was trying to get across. And I said to the doctor, if this was you, what would you do? He said, I would take it instantly. So I said, give it to me. And they had four phlebotomists trying to get a vein. They were working on both legs, they were working on both arms, and they were using butterflies. And if you've ever seen one of those, it looks just like a butterfly. It's got the little things like wings that they hold, and they're very, very small needles. The gauges on them are incredibly, incredibly small. The higher the number, the smaller the gauge, right? And the lower the number, so like a 10 gauge needle looks like it could pump up a basketball, where a 40 gauge needle looks like it's hair thin. Well, they were trying to get a vein, and each time they would not get one, they would throw it on the floor and open another package, right? Because they want to always be hitting you with the sharpest possible needle. I'm not kidding you, people. They were ankle deep on the floor. Yeah, I probably got stuck 50, 60 times before they finally got a vein in, which they got behind my knee. And it was really a bizarre scene because as they put this stuff in, all of a sudden there were like 11 people in the emergency room, and they were wearing shorts and ties and suits. And it works this quickly. Like once it gets in, it breaks up that clot, and all of a sudden, your speech might be a little bit slurred, but all of a sudden you can talk and people can understand you. And I remember my wife at the time, she looked at me and she went, "Look at all of the people, and they're all doing this one, right?" And they're all looking at the clock, and she's like, "I don't understand why everybody's here." I said, "They're waiting to see if I die." Right? I mean, that's really what was going on. They were waiting to see, because if I was bleeding inside, they didn't have time to give me a head scan. There was no time for that. And they were waiting because if I was hemorrhagic, I was going to bleed out in a matter of seconds. There's nothing they could do to stop it. And had I fully understood that, maybe I wouldn't have taken the TPA. But yeah, and when I was in prison, if they needed to get blood or do anything else, they would have to bring in an ultrasound machine, same kind of thing that you use when you're seeing an unborn child, right? And it had a needle attached to it, and they would put it on, and they would run it up and down until they found a vein down below, and they're looking at a computer screen, and then they would push the needle, which is on the other side of it, down in deep, and it was absolutely ridiculous. And it was, I think I've told the story before, but hold on one second. Yeah, when I was on my diabetic attack years ago, oops, sorry, wrong. I forgot to scroll down. I was on death's door, but it was a profound experience and most supernatural thing I've experienced as well. Had a vision of my best friend who passed months earlier and seen people praying around my bed. You hear that so often. Honestly, I don't care whether you believe or not, people. If you do a little research, this is one of those things you hear all of the time. And you can chalk it up to whatever you want to chalk it up to. I chalk it up to God, but that's your decision. But you hear these things. You hear these things all the time. But as I was saying about a week ago on the boat, I said to a doctor when it was getting time to leave prison, I had to get one more blood draw so that they could make sure that you're not leaving HIV positive or anything like that, because there's tattoos and intravenous drug use and all of that. And the woman said, well, I need to draw blood. And I said, well, I'm a really tough stick, right? Which is the term they use medically, right? A hard stick is someone that's very difficult to get blood out of. I said, so I'm just going to warn you, I'm a really hard stick. And the woman tied off my arm and said, I don't know what you're talking about. She said, look at this one. And just that fast drew blood. And it may seem very insignificant, people, but I just wanted to put my hands in the air and go, yes, right? I have veins. The fact that I hadn't worn anything out in so long really was it was a moment. It was something that meant a lot to me at the time. 40 people in the chat and 41 thumbs up. You people are the best. You really are. These small things, doing this, leaving a comment after the fact, all of these things are making the boat build. I was talking with Johnny Scoville today, and one of the unusual things about the lifeboat, and I had pointed it out on a show recently, and it had never occurred to Johnny before. I did the same thing, Tommy. I got veins again. Hooray! No question, man. It's an exciting thing when you see him come back. It really is. So a strange thing happened. I was talking with Johnny Scoville, my brother, and one of the things that makes the lifeboat unique is that our subject matter is, drug addiction. I remember being able to wear short sleeves again. That was a big deal for me. I'm scarred. You've seen it. I am so badly scarred from all of the abscesses and everything, but no purple. Right, the track marks are all old. They're very white, and yeah, I love it. I love being able to wear short sleeves. So the number of people that watch the lifeboat, the number of people who watch that are not members is huge. It's a lot of people who come to see every show but don't hit the subscribe button. And I was talking about this with my brother Johnny, and it's like standing up at a meeting and saying, "Hi, I'm Tommy Scoville, and I'm a heroin addict." Right? It's the first time you have to say out loud, I'm a drug addict. It's a really hard thing to do, coming to grips with that. And I think, and this is just a theory, but I think that there's something to hitting the subscribe button on the lifeboat that is like admitting you're a drug addict, or you have alcohol. I say alcoholic. If it offends you, I'm sorry, but it's so much easier than going through the whole alcohol, abuse disorder, whatever, people. I'm not trying to offend anybody, but it's just a lot easier to say alcoholic. But to say I'm an alcoholic or I'm a drug addict, it really is like saying, admitting it. When you hit that subscribe button, you're saying, yeah, I need this boat. I need these people in my life, and this is who I am. And I think for a lot of people, that's really difficult. I encourage you to hit the subscribe button. Not because it's going to make us better or bigger, but because it's like standing up and saying, my name is Tommy and I'm a drug addict. When you hit that subscribe button, it may be painful the first time. When you really have to come to grips with the fact that, I need this channel. I need the people on this channel. I need help. Asking for help goes against everything that we are as humans. It doesn't make any sense, right? It really doesn't. To us, it's such a difficult thing, but it is so essential that you admit who you are. Because a few people know me, going on your show and talking about my addictions felt like that big time, like that big meeting. I believe that. Ilea said, just curious, did you and Tommy or someone in your family invent the Scoville scale? Sorry to be off topic. No, I'm glad that you asked this. My last name, I was not born Tommy Scoville. My brother was not born Johnny Scoville. He took the name because of Wilbur Scoville, who invented the Scoville scale. But that is not our last name by birth. This was something that changed because my brother had the ability to eat the hottest things in the world. And I don't know if you've ever gone over to Chase the Heat, but if you haven't, it's worth seeing. There are a lot of people that can do what my brother can do, right? I mean, I ate a tube of terror very fast. And you know who knows? Do you know who knows? Kiss Freak. He was running the timer. Kiss Freak knows. Anyway, I drank bottles of tincture. I did all of those things. But the difference between me and my brother is when I do it, you know I did it, right? I'll turn 5 colors of red. I look like I'm going to die. The pain is absolutely unbelievable. But when you watch Johnny do it, you know, Johnny can eat a bucket full of Carolina Reapers and have a conversation with you like he's eating popcorn. His superpower is not just the ability to eat really hot things, but it's the ability to eat hot things and talk at the same time and not seem to have any kind of a response, which is really, it's unique even among the people that are good at this, to watch somebody eat those peppers. So he became Johnny Scoville. And the reason that he did was he had children. And when you're online, it's amazing how the vitriol from the people that don't like you, they go after your kids, they go after. So he had a daughter at the time that was, you know, in college age, and he just didn't want to bring all of that heat down. So on the way to one of his first competitions, he came up with a name in the car with the help of his son, right? He became Johnny Scoville, and he told a billion stories about his younger brother. But he didn't tell you, he did not tell them the story using my name. He used the name Tommy as the name of his younger brother. So when I got out of prison and I started to do the social media thing, I could have gone in 2 directions. I could have used my name, but it was such a gift to me to put to bed the person that I used to be. When I say that you can become a new creation, I mean that. And if you knew who I was, you know, there are people that knew me then. And for those who knew me then, I am such a different person now than I was that it is absolutely amazing. Doodlebug says, I've relapsed more times than, oops, I'm sorry, wrong one. Doodlebug says, bald and doesn't even sweat. Just unreal. Roger is a beast and he has to wipe that dome off a couple of times a challenge. Yeah, he really does. Roger's talented. He is. He has an amazing tolerance, but it's definitely a little different to watch him versus watching my brother. So I had an opportunity to become a different person, which was my goal. I didn't want to be the person that I used to be. So taking the new name was nothing shy of amazing, and the only reason that it is not legally my name is because of the fact that I am still on probation. But I will change my name legally to Tommy Scoville at some point. I am Tommy Scoville. I just really have. I don't know. It's been a real change, and it was a gift. And it's funny because I didn't get to choose the name, which is probably a good thing. Right, waiting for the book Killing. Yeah, that's right. I told Seventh Son once. It's been a joke of with me and my brother. You know, I'm one of those people that once a day somebody says, you know, you really ought to write a book. You really ought to write a book. You really ought to write a book. Well, if I ever do, the name of the book is going to be, you know, me killing my previous name, right? So, because I think that would be great. I think it's cool I named my baby brother. Yeah, well, you did have that ability. That is something that is unique. So no, we are not in any relation to Wilbur Scoville. But since this is one of those laid-back shows, the Scoville scale, for those of you who are not familiar with it, the Scoville scale tells you how hot something is. And it's very odd how he came up with it. The Scoville scale goes like this. How many ounces of water do you have to add to something until it's no longer hot? Right? So if you were to take a jalapeno, right, and Johnny will correct me because I'll probably say it wrong, but I believe a jalapeno is in the 3,000 to 4,000 range. So that's how many ounces of water you would have to add to it before it would no longer be hot. Can you imagine 1,000,000 Scoville units? You'd have to add 1,000,000 ounces of water. Next time you could be lucky recipient of I Am the Noise Opera, just gifted one lifeboat membership. Awesome. I love that. I really do. Thank you. That is such a cool thing. Now, I don't know exactly, how do you find out who gets gifted though? Does it tell you? I don't know. But somebody just became a member. Noise Opera, you're a gentleman, and you are a generous gentleman. And you know what, man? It's you don't try to keep score doing what I do, right? It's a bad road to go down. Hold on one second. The answer is, I looked up Wilbur's family tree a while back. No Johnny, so my curiosity was raised. Yeah, absolutely. So I don't try to keep score on the lifeboat. I like to keep score about how many people are getting help, that kind of thing. But as far as, look how far this person has got and compare it to how far this person has got or anything like that is not something that I've ever been, I don't want to get down that road. It's not a good one. But I want to tell you something, man. The Noise Opera there really is just no way for me to describe. I think the best description that I could give you is I compare it to me in a lot of ways. And I'm saying this because he is a different person and I feel cool because he is a different person. Stand for Truth. Good to see you. He was an angry person. I used to be like that. He was a very, very angry person. And we spent a lot of time talking back and forth with one another. We were building a friendship and really, really angry. And he went from being one of the angriest people I've ever met to being one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I love him. I really do. And I'm so glad that he's here. Noise Opera, so proud of the person you've become. And I hope you are as well. I didn't know how that scale was measured. That's awesome. I only knew the higher the number, the hotter the pepper. We watch Hot Ones. Okay. You also, Hot Ones is fun. I have watched that show a couple of times myself. Although, if I am going to watch anything heat related, I tend to watch that other, what's it called? Chase the Heat. I watched that one quite a bit. In fact, for those of you who have been around a long time, I used to have a segment on that show called Tommy's Picks. And prior to there being a Tommy Scoville show or the Lifeboat or anything else, my first real exposure to the social media at all was me on Chase the Heat doing the Tommy's Picks, which was a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people. It's how I met Charlie and just a lot of you. That's how I met you guys. So Lord Kiss Freak, I met that way as well. It was Tommy's Picks was a million years ago. It does seem like a really, really long time ago, but it wasn't. Speaking of which, the social media that I also really took off on when I first got out, I spent a lot of time on Instagram. And I built a fairly good-sized following. I think I had like 8,000 or 9,000 people that followed me on Instagram. And when I would put up posts, I would get the number of people that would. It was frightening. I just really had a huge following on Instagram. But it was really uniquely because of my brother and Heat. Me drinking tinctures and doing things like that. So I kind of got away from it. Rip said, in this year's garden, I am going to try to make my own new hot pepper. I love it. I absolutely love it. Tommy, what a great show, brother. So much fun. I haven't seen an hour pass by that fast in a while. I appreciate you so much, man. Much love for you. Thank you, Doodlebug. We have a lot of love for you, too. We really do. I'm glad that you're here, man. I really am. And tell your grandmother that we said we love her. She's a great woman. Phyllis is the top of the food chain. I'm not kidding you. One of the kindest people I've ever met. And I'm not just throwing that out there. She's an amazing, amazing person. So I brought up Instagram for a reason. I left Instagram because it wasn't really what I was doing anymore. I don't do a lot of heat anymore. The speed run for the tube of terror, followed by drinking an entire bottle of tincture, almost killed me. And it was probably talked me out of doing a whole lot of hot stuff. These days, the only time I do hot stuff is when my brother tricks me into doing hot stuff. Because that's who he is. He's a rotten brother. In fact, the first hot thing I ever ate was because my brother sat on me and forced me to eat a pepperoncini when I was but a young child of about 4. Why? Because he's a mean person. Anyway, so I got away from Instagram, and I went back yesterday and I was looking over the 200 and some odd posts that I had done on Instagram, and I still have about 5,000 followers or something like that on Instagram. Probably haven't seen me in a very, very long time. You can deny that all you want. It's a fact. So I am going to be firing back up my Instagram. And I'm not telling you that to get everybody to go check out Instagram. I'm doing it because I am going to start every way I possibly can get more people to the lifeboat. And I would encourage anybody that is on Instagram to repost or to share or do anything, the posts that I put up, because it's all going to be about this. It's going to be about trying to get people here. I don't much mind the heat, but that rotten fermented fish was way too much. It's funny that you say that, M. Hunt, because we're going to have thinking of having a contest and maybe flying someone out so that they can try it, and your name was top on the list. I would never do that to anybody. I would not make anybody eat. Find you on Instagram. I will try to do that. You can find me on Instagram. I am going to be... I turned it off so that you couldn't get to me. Basically, I became an unlisted number. I am going to be a listed number again, probably tonight or tomorrow, and it's just Tommy Scoville. That's all it is, so you should be able to find me. And everything that I do from this point forward is just going to be about Chase the Heat. And I'll weed out the haters, because there's a lot of people that don't like me. And once we get those haters weeded out, it's going to be something that I do. My son would be the perfect candidate. You're referring to the foul fish? If you've not seen that video, you really should see it. I don't go back and watch videos that I do for any other reason than to see your comments, because I can't always read them, and we do live, right? So I miss a lot of the comments. But one of the only videos that I have gone back and watched time and time again, it's hard to watch, says M. Hunt. Boy, it is. That kind of sound. It's fun watching my brother take such Chase the Heat or the Lifeboat. Well, you could see it on either, but you darn better well see it on the Lifeboat. Lady Crispin, what do we call that video? If it wasn't for that video, I would have never met Lady Crispin, by the way. So it worked out. Awesome. I will definitely push you, Tommy. I look forward to you. Thank you. I hope everybody pushes it as much as possible. People, we got to save lives, man. We got to save lives. And we're doing it. We really are. We're doing it. I'm also going to be talking to my bobbleheaded partner about we're going to be putting together some kind of a package deal. I get people every single day who will write to me and say, I would love to be able to buy a membership for so-and-so. I would love to be able to buy a membership for so-and-so. And it just doesn't work that way, which sucks. So I get a lot of people who will say then, is there anything I can do to help? I just want to help one person. I just want to help one person. For those who feel so inclined, I'm going to put together something where you can literally go in there and say, here's a donation, and it's going to be enough money to get a person off of opiates and onto buprenorphine, which is what almost every penny that we get is spent on. We've been able to help some people do some other stuff. We've helped some people move that needed to move in a very quick fashion. We've been able to. There's just been other things that we've been able to do to help. But the vast majority of money goes specifically to helping people get on buprenorphine. And we would also like to branch off and have it so that you can help somebody get off alcohol by using naltrexone, because we've had a lot of success with that as well. Cultivate Kindness says, I have been going through the same trials in life, but I have felt so much better just from being here every night. No joke. Well, I know that because I feel better being here every night. I do. This is such a huge part of what I do, in terms of being sober. You guys are such a huge part of my sobriety. Emily says, trolls suck, but you just got to know how to deal with them on the Instagram. Well, I've learned how to deal with trolls. I was bad at it last year, and the people that have been here a really long time watched me go through it. Apparently, I'm being attacked to beat hell right now by a new troll. But see, I have a concept, and it is called Schrodinger's troll. Right? You're familiar with Schrodinger's cat. And by looking in the box, certain things happen. Well, if I don't see the troll, he doesn't exist. Or she doesn't exist. Troll me all you want. The only way it bothers me is if I acknowledge it. And the only way I acknowledge it is if I go look at them. I don't look at them. Somebody has pointed out that there's a guy out there having a field day with me. Have fun. Do what you do. Because I don't see it anyway. And if you're trying to smut me up, for the love of God, I'm a convicted bank robber. I've come on here and given the entire world my entire history. I'm a tough guy to smut up. You know what I mean? It's one thing if you're, if you're shy about who you are, or you hide your past or whatever. My past is what it is. You know what I mean? I'm not proud of my past, but I'll tell you something. I'm proud as hell of who I am today. I really am. And I don't mean the lifeboat. I'm proud of the lifeboat, but I'm more proud of you people than I am of me. The fact that you come here every day and the fact that you're always trying to help. I'm having issues like everyone. Then Virginia, reach out, please. Right? Let's talk to somebody. If you're having issues, please don't have issues in silence. Please. Virginia, I love Virginia. If you've never heard the phone call that Virginia did on here, you would not believe it. Hope you all have a wonderful night. We're proud, Captain. I'm proud of you, M. Hunt. I really am. I am so proud of you, M. Hunt. I can't begin to tell you. I cannot begin to tell you. Leave it there. Past life. You know what? That is where I leave it. It's the truth. It's in the past. And as crazy as it is, Matt C., thank you. Glad you're here. I'm not proud of the past. There's a lot that I did in my past that I'm ashamed of. However, it made me who I am today. And if I wasn't who I am today, then there would be some people here that would be, they wouldn't have anywhere to go, right? There wouldn't be all of you getting together and helping one another. And that is huge. It's huge. And the number of people that have become such a huge part of my life and a huge part of me staying sober. There are people that reach out and encourage me every day. I can't remember the last day that Doodlebug didn't just shoot me a, hey, I hope you're doing well, Cap. And that kind of thing goes a long way. He also bought me a really cool mug. I think I showed it to you guys. If not, I will definitely show it to you the next time that I'm live. It was a lovely sentiment that says, you know what, you're making a difference. And it put a lump in my throat. It really did. He and his grandmother are just two of the nicest people you would ever want to meet. Prada says, the lifeboat has helped me to understand my sister's nieces, nephews, and 2 cousins' deaths from overdose. My God. Thank you, lifeboat captain and crew. I love you all. I'm so sorry for your loss. I really am. I'm so sorry for your loss. We're going to do everything we can to stop these things from happening. We really need to. I will always love Johnny for being the man, but I love him double for sending me to the boat and being the best big brother ever. Tell somebody you love them. Well, I love the Scovilles. Wow, man. What a cool thing to say. What a really cool thing to say. You know what I'm going to go do right now? I am going to go have dinner with my mother. And I'm really in luck because my mother is an amazing cook. She really is. She also refuses to appear on video of any kind, even with all of the years of Chase the Heat. And if I'm not mistaken, Chase the Heat started in 1932. So Johnny's been doing it a really, really long time. But you have never, ever seen Mama Scoville. You've heard her voice. Occasionally, you may have even seen a hand. But the Mama Scoville refuses to be filmed. I think I'm going to try to trick her, though. Maybe get her on here when she's not looking. All right. People, thank you so much for letting me do a show on my night off. And the reason that I did this, instead of doing this as a private show, there were some people that I felt like really needed to hear this tonight that may not have been a member, and I didn't want anybody to miss this. The members only stuff is coming. It is. That's it's an important part of what we do. You know, it's you guys are very, very generous, and it allows us to do some really, really beautiful things. But you need to be rewarded for it, and those things will be coming. It's a little bit more difficult when my bobbleheaded partner is not side by side with me, because I'll tell you something. He is the brains of the operation in this 2-man team, and in the 3-man team, Lady Crispin is the brains for the entire thing. So thank you for all you've done to make the lifeboat look beautiful, because it did not look 2 months ago the way that it does right now. Phi, you have hit it out of the park. Thank you so much for all that you do, and to all of you, I hope you have a great night, and I will be back. Any name yet for maybe a one? It's not a bad idea. I just got an idea from Heather. I will be back tomorrow night, same squirrel time, same squirrel channel. Let me just make sure that I didn't miss something, because I thought I saw my name. Thank you, Captain. I love you so much. You're a beautiful soul. God bless you greatly for all you do. Wow, what a nice thing to say. Thank you. And God bless all of you. I mean that. You're the... sorry to chase the heat, and I'm sorry to everybody else. I'm sorry to Marfugel. I love all of you guys. I really do. The Fugel fam is great. You know, the guys on the bus are great, but ain't nobody nowhere got anything on the crew of the boat. Plain and simple. The best people on the internet are right here. This is it. All right? So, I am Captain Tommy Scoville, and on the other side of the glass, we'll be back tomorrow. And this is a frozen pussycat in a basket. She was outside, so she's... Look at just how comfy she is. Oh, see? Told you she's not stuffed. I love you all. See you all tomorrow night. God bless. Stay sober. Don't suffer in silence.